don't know if she's even going to destroy Caitlin Clark long term. She's going to destroy Caitlin Clark short term.
Caitlin Clark just endured one of the worst nights of her professional career, and fans aren't holding back. Last night's game wasn't just a stumble. It felt like the entire offense forgot how to run. Social feeds erupted with furious comments. "I bought tickets for Clark, not this mess. We're being robbed, and I'm done watching Fever basketball." But this collapse wasn't a fluke or rust from a layoff. It exposed something far deeper. What if it's not Caitlin who's failing the system, but the system that's failing Caitlin? And what comes next could reshape her entire rookie season.
Yesterday, what we seen displayed out there was a rude awakening to a bunch of fans. Stephanie White's style of coaching is not for Caitlin Clark.
When Caitlin Clark finally stepped back onto the court, expectations were sky high. Yet within minutes, it became painfully clear something was off. She settled for contested jumpers, hesitated on drives, and watched as the ball skipped through teammates' hands. By halftime, Clark had scored just 6 points on 2 of 8 shooting, her trademark confidence replaced by visible frustration. The Fever's offense stumbled in her absence, then collapsed all over again with her in the lineup. Fans didn't just notice, they exploded. One viewer tweeted, "Clark looks lost out there," while another griped, "This isn't the rookie we drafted." Even casual observers chimed in. "Where's the spark? She's barely touching the ball." These weren't isolated gripes. They poured in by the hundreds under Fever highlights, each more scathing than the last. But the most shocking moment wasn't Clark's shooting woes. It was how the game plan seemed to ignore her entirely. Plays broke down before she caught the ball. Fast breaks bypassed her position. Every potential assist dissolved into a crowded paint. It wasn't rust. It was a strategic blackout. As the final buzzer sounded on a demoralizing 92-76 loss, the question on everyone's mind was the same. Why was Clark being sidelined in her own showcase? This wasn't a one-night anomaly. It felt like a warning shot. And if this opening act was any indication, the real drama was only beginning. Ever since Stephanie White took over, it's been less give the ball to your best player and more everybody touch it the same number of times. White preaches a flowing offense, movement, spacing, cutting. But that philosophy clashes with Clark's gift, handling the ball with purpose. Instead of setting up her signature pull-up threes or breakaway drives, the playbook asks Clark to spot up or move off ball, as if her greatest asset were her willingness to blend in. It's like inviting a race car to a go-kart track and insisting it follow the same tight turns. This isn't hypothetical. We've seen this pattern before. White once said a superstar hurt team chemistry when she claimed the Mavericks were better without Luka. Now, that same logic is forcing Clark into the background. Rather than unleashing her as a catalyst, the system treats her like a role player. And when your rookie whirlwind is muted, the whole offense flatlines. But that wasn't the whole story. It all rings eerily familiar if you remember White's take on Luka Dončić. She once famously quipped that the Mavericks were more dangerous when Luka sat. That comment wasn't just a hot mic slip. It revealed a deep-seated bias against high-usage stars. Now, swap out Luka for Clark, and the script repeats itself. Think about it. Dončić carried Dallas's offense on his shoulders, yet White dismissed his impact as a chemistry killer. She praised balanced ball movement when in reality, that balance only materialized in Luka's absence. Now, Clark's explosive drives and pinpoint passes are met with the same skepticism. Instead of designing sets around her strengths, the Fever run motion drills as if generational talent can be tamed by equal touch quotas. The result, both Luka and Clark, two of the brightest young playmakers, found themselves boxed out of their own show. And with every misfire or turnover, White's system-first mantra gains another believer. But here's the twist. Fans saw through it then, and they're seeing through it now. What happens when a coach can't see the supernova burning in front of her eyes? The answer is coming into focus. Stephanie White's resume is a tale of two coaching worlds. As an assistant under Carolyn Peck at Purdue, she thrived, helping guide a balanced, precision-driven offense to a national championship. In that role, she followed a blueprint crafted by another mind, slotting in and out without needing to call the shots. But when White took the reins herself at Vanderbilt, the headlines shifted. 2 straight seasons of 7-23 and 7-24 left once promising rosters sputtering, with highly touted recruits struggling to find rhythm in her motion-heavy schemes. Those lopsided records weren't just numbers on a page. They signaled a deeper issue. Under White's watch, players who excelled in free-flowing, star-driven systems suddenly looked lost in a rigid rotation that prized equal touches over explosive playmaking. Ball handlers saw their opportunities shrink, perimeter shooters watched cuts go unfilled, and the stands echoed with the whisper of what could have been. In Nashville, The system proved too brittle to accommodate raw talent, and wins became elusive. Fast forward to tonight's fevered atmosphere in Indiana, and the pattern is painfully obvious. The coach who once reduced her own star's impact in college is now repeating the same mistake with Caitlin Clark at the pro level. A head coach's greatest strength should be adapting strategy to player strengths. Yet White's blueprint remains unchanged, even when it clearly muffles her superstar's game. And history tells us how this ends. When structure suffocates creativity, chemistry unravels, and both coach and team pay the price. But the story doesn't stop here. The cold, hard data lays bare the damage. Clark's usage rate has plunged from a collegiate peak of 30% down to a meager 22% in Indiana. Her effective field goal percentage, once an eye-popping .55 INRU, has dipped below 4.8 INRU. And her three-point accuracy hovers around 28%, nearly 10 points below league average for top guards. Even more alarming, her assist-to-turnover ratio has slipped to just 2-1, a stark contrast to the near 4-1 that marked her brutal efficiency at Iowa. Team metrics tell the same story. With Clark on the floor, the Fever's offensive rating drops by 5 points compared to her bench minutes, a reversal of the plus-minus effect you'd expect from a rookie phenom. Their pace slows, ball movement stalls, and spacing collapses. Every possession feels like trudging through mud. By contrast, in the rare moments she's unleashed in transition or isolation, the offense sparks to life. Quick drives, kickouts to open shooters, and those gravity-pulling pull-up jumpers that force defenses to scramble. It's not talent that's missing, it's opportunity. Clark's free throw attempts are down nearly 40% from standard rookie benchmarks, and that tells the tale. Fewer trips to the line mean fewer chances to build confidence and rhythm. Every statistical dip traces back to the same root cause, a system that muzzles its brightest weapon. And fans aren't just crunching numbers, they're calling for accountability. Across social media, analytics geeks and casual supporters alike cite these metrics as proof that something's fundamentally broken. One post read, "When the best player on your roster posts negative plus-minus, it's not bad luck, it's bad coaching." Another demanded, "Show me the data. Coach, prove me wrong." But data only tells half the story. The human element, the hush in the arena every time Clark checks in, speaks even louder. And that roar of discontent is about to collide with the front office's plans. The frustration reached a boiling point online. Hashtags like #FreeCaitlin trended within hours of Clark's return game, and fans flooded comment sections demanding accountability. One viral tweet declared, "I didn't pay for motion offense. I paid to watch Clark shine." While Instagram stories showed ticket holders requesting refunds, screenshots of their scammed notifications pinned to Fever graphics. Even analysts jumped in. A prominent podcaster slammed the willful sabotage of a generational talent, arguing that the front office needs to choose between system over star or watch merchandise sales plummet. But it wasn't just hot takes, it was a groundswell. Local fan groups organized Free Caitlin nights, painting signs and wearing Clark's number in protest. Season ticket renewals dipped noticeably, and one radio host reported a genuine fear among sponsors that prolonged discontent might threaten broadcast deals. Casual viewers who once tuned in for Clark's theatrics now scrolled past Indiana's highlights, muttering, "Why bother?" This collective outcry forced the Fever's brass into damage control mode. Executives released a vague statement praising Clark's team-first mentality, but it did little to quell the storm. Instead, social feeds exploded with mockery of the platitudes. Team first? How about ball first? Read one meme that racked up thousands of shares. The sentiment was crystal clear. If Clark isn't at the center, fans won't stick around. And here's the kicker. This isn't empty noise. History shows that sustained fan revolt can flip narratives and even rosters. But will Indiana's front office have the courage to pivot, or will they bury their heads in the sand and let the backlash drown out their star? Up next, we'll look at the possible crossroads for Clark and the Fever, and what it would take for this rookie sensation to break free of her coach's grip. Now the spotlight turns to Indiana's decision-makers. Will they adapt or dig in? One path forward is a tweak to personnel rotations. More pick-and-roll sets, fewer motion drills, and clear plays designed to get Clark the ball in transition. That adjustment alone could restore her confidence, reignite the offense, and placate a restless fan base. If the front office opts for a bolder move, they might consider shifting assistant coaches or even exploring a midseason head coach dialogue, bringing in specialists known for superstar-driven systems. Rumors are already swirling that rival teams view Clark as a must-have piece, meaning internal discontent could spark trade whispers if the status quo holds. Off the court, the Fever could launch a PR campaign celebrating Clark's strengths, showcasing behind-the-scenes chemistry to counteract negative narratives. Fan events centered on Clark, meet and greets, exclusive film sessions, would remind supporters why they fell in love with her game in the first place. Ultimately, the question isn't just, can Clark thrive under White? It's, will Indiana prioritize its generational talent over a rigid ideology? Because if they don't, the Hat-Free Caitlin movement may shift from social media chants to concrete demands, demanding changes in the front office, in coaching philosophy, or both. And what about Clark? She'll need to lean on her resilience, rally her teammates, and continue delivering flashes of brilliance whenever she gets the chance. If she can force the system to bend around her gifts, this saga could end with a triumphant rookie turnaround rather than a cautionary tale. But one thing is certain, the Fever's next move will determine whether this season becomes a footnote or a defining chapter in Caitlin Clark's career. This isn't just another rookie hiccup. It's a crossroads moment for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. We've seen how a rigid system can mute a superstar, how history repeats itself from Purdue to Vanderbilt to the WNBA. We've crunched the numbers, watched the fan uproar, and traced the parallels to Luka's saga. Now, it all comes down to one question. Will the Fever bend their philosophy around Clark's generational talent? Or will they watch her brilliance fade in the name of equal touches? Your voice matters. If you're tired of seeing Clark benched, if you believe the ball should live in her hands, make some noise. Comment Free Caitlin below, share this video with every Fever fan you know, and tag the front office on Twitter and Instagram. Let them hear the roar of a fan base that refuses to settle for anything less than unleashing Caitlin's full potential. Stay tuned, because in this story, the next chapter is still being written. Subscribe now for daily updates, insider analysis, and every twist in the tale of Clark versus the system. Don't just watch the drama, be the change that tips the scales.